So this may surprise some of you, but I consider myself to be a minimalist. I routinely pare back and Marie Kondo every element of my life. It's so therapeutic to me. I've done it for my house plants, my electronics cords. What a great weekend that was. And of course, I frequently pare down my makeup collection. So today I thought I would take you through that declutter, show you some of the products that are exiting my collection, let you know why they gotta go, but also offer an alternative product that I'm still loving and enjoying. So what I'm keeping versus what I'm tossing, that sort of vibe. Also, I know that nobody likes disclaimers, but this is not a disclaimer. It's a very important clarification. I don't believe in bad makeup. That bad makeup doesn't make sense to me, doesn't compute. I think whether you like a product depends on your personal preferences, your skin type, your purpose, how you like to use makeup. Without a doubt, my preferences will differ to yours in some way. So just use your best judgment. Hopefully I'm descriptive enough that you can take something away from this. So yes, be nice in the comments, don't hurt me, okay? Hair flip. So let's do this chronologically. So starting with primer. I shall be parting with the Cover FX Water Cloud Primer. I was super excited about this one because it seems to both have hydrating properties and smoothing properties all in one primer. And then it also has anti-pollution technology, blue light defense, pretty cool stuff. Unfortunately, this peeled on me. So as I was applying my foundation over, I could see products sort of rolling and balling up on the skin, and then I had to remove everything and start again. Another primer that I shall be parting with is the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Primer. I actually use this one on and off for quite a bit because it does a great job of blurring those pores. But I think it's just a touch too slippy for me. So my foundation was having trouble adhering, and then I'd also experienced some transfer issues throughout the day. My pick for a smoothing primer that is remaining within my collection is the Makeup Forever Smoothing Primer. It's an oldie but a goodie. I keep coming back to it. It does a good job of blurring those pores, but it doesn't interfere in any way with my foundation application. Love that one. Foundation. Foundation. I had to have a proper chat with myself. I said, Karima, how many full coverage matte foundations do you need to buy before you realize this isn't working?
The limit does not exist. The limit does not exist.
Exhibit A, the Fenty Soft Matte Foundation. I went on to purchase this in like 4 colors. Why? Why? So that you can be crusty in the correct shade? But if you're very oily, FYI, you might really enjoy that one. Another good example is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. In my defense, I purchased this for my Instagram baddie tutorial, which I'm going to link somewhere on the screen. But yeah, just a little bit much, a little bit too much coverage, a little too dry, and actually very warm, you know, gave me a bit of that Oompa Loompa vibe. Final foundation that I'll be decluttering today, the only Armani foundation that I've met and didn't love, the Armani Power Fabric. There were some days where this looked okay on me and other days where it looked so dry and so patchy that I had to completely remove it and start again. It was just a bit fiddly on my skin type. Also, another downside for me, flashback to the day when I was purchasing this at the counter, I was having like a silent meltdown because the shades, you guys, the whole shade range was this whole pinky, ashy, greyish color scheme, and I just don't think that humans come in those shades. Instead of rambling off counterpart foundations that I'm using and enjoying, I shall direct you to my favorite foundations video, link it somewhere on the screen, and that is like an encyclopedia of all the foundations that I use and enjoy. Okie dokie, let's talk about the correctors. This has become like a study of Karima's purchasing behaviors. So every now and again, I admit I'll go to a pro makeup store and I'll get super excited and I'll buy all the stuff, and sometimes it works out, but most of the time it doesn't. Hear me out. Pro makeup is rather different to consumer makeup, I would say. Especially when it comes to the complexion products, the textures tend to be quite a bit drier and stiffer. So some examples are the Kryolan Concealer Wheel, corrector type product, the Makeup Store Coverall Mix, another corrector type product, and the Ben Nye Cream Foundation in Sallow Green, which I intended to use as a corrector product. All these correctors are very stiff to the touch. They have a very dry formula, and it is through this experiment that I have discovered that I prefer my correctors to be more creamy. And there is nothing to say that you couldn't mix these products with other products to make them a little bit more pliable and easy to work with. But if we take a good look at all these pans, I clearly have not been doing that. It's just too much hassle considering that I already have products that are much easier to use in my collection. So on that note, let me show you some of the correctors that I use and enjoy. The Laura Mercier Secret Concealer, very creamy, peachy type of corrector product. Also the Sisley Eye Concealer, which is a softly salmon toned product for deflecting any bluey or purple casts. And then something entirely different, the L'Oreal Infallible Anti-Redness Primer. So this is more of an approachable way of neutralizing surface redness all over the face. That stuff's awesome. Next up is concealer. I shall be saying goodbye to the Fenty Pro Filt'r Concealer. This is a similar vibe to your Tarte Shape Tape kind of concealer. So it's a fuller coverage, more of a glam style concealer, but I don't like this one as much as the Shape Tape. I feel like it's not quite as smoothing, and every time I wore it, I felt like my under eye area just looked a little bit ashy and dull. So my alternative that I'm sticking with is the Tarte Shape Tape for now. Another concealer type product that is exiting my collection, this is perhaps controversial, the YSL Touche Eclat. So the Touche Eclat concept itself, I think, is brilliant. The idea of bringing light and luminosity to the face without adding a ton of coverage, I think there's a lot of merit to that concept. But there've just been so many iterations of this kind of product since it had been launched, and I kind of prefer the new and improved formulas. So my counterpart that I will be keeping is the love of my life, the Giorgio Armani High Precision Retouch. I've spoken about this many times before. It's a very, very thin fluid that provides like beams of illumination, and it's ideal for lifting any shadows or hollowy areas. Could not be without it. You guys, this one makes me a little bit sad. I guess you and I, we're just not meant for one another. This is the NARS Skin Deep Eyeshadow Palette. As soon as I received this, I got super excited. Beautiful neutral shades, great mattes. I took it straight home to my personal vanity because I thought I'm gonna get a ton of wear out of this. And one night I had a girls' night out, and I gave myself plenty of time, like 2 hours to get ready so I could really enjoy the process. And I proceeded to create a smoky eye with this palette, and it looked so choppy. I just kept going and it just kept getting worse and worse, and eventually I had to remove the eye altogether. So then I went in for round 2. I primed my eyes very carefully. I used my favorite eyeshadow brushes, and again, I just could not get these mattes to look good on my eyelids. I like to think that I'm pretty good at, bringing back eyeshadow mishaps and bringing back an eyeshadow look from Crisis. But if I have to remove the look twice, that's the kiss of death. My alternative neutral palette that I'm keeping is actually from NARS. This is the NARS Wanted palette. These mattes blend like an absolute dream. The shimmers are gorgeous and multifaceted. I mean, how curious, right? You can't win them all. On to highlight. So I think we're all familiar with these holographic highlights that flash blue and purple and pink and chartreuse. And these really had a moment, I want to say like a year or 2 ago. And I purchased a few. I tried to get on board with the cool kids. So the Anastasia Moonchild. This Too Faced one is deceiving. That one does have quite a significant purple flash. The Kevin Aucoin Neo Limelight Highlight in Ibiza. I just never reach for these. When I'm looking for a highlight, I want it to be somewhat believable, somewhat. And it's just not plausible that my skin will start to glisten purple of its own accord. Look, if you love these kind of highlights, do not let me dull your shine. You continue to live your fairy dreams, okay? But if you are looking for a believable highlight, then here are 2 of my favorites that I'm keeping. The Hourglass Luminous Light, brilliant for things like bridal because it just looks so natural. And also an oldie but a goodie, the Laura Mercier Highlight 01, also not at all frosty or glittery, just a soft satiny sheen. Let's talk about skin mists, because skin mists are very much having their moment on YouTube. I will be passing on the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I know a lot of people love this one. The great news is that the mister is wonderful. It's got a very fine mist. But I find this one has emollient ingredients that almost feel like they're prematurely breaking down my makeup. So instead of just making me look dewy, I start to feel a little bit worn. And then a second one that didn't float my boat is the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. This disperses a fine veil of shimmer all over the face, and perhaps, you know, I can see how some people would enjoy that, but for me, I like to be a little bit more strategic with my shimmer, because if it gets on my nose, it just makes my pores look big, and that's not the aim. Two mists that I adore and would recommend absolutely remain within my collection is, of course, the Too Cool for School Coconut Milky Mist. This mist, it's brilliant. Also, it smells wonderful, and it doesn't break down my makeup, just gives a little bit more dew to the skin. And then a new discovery, you really have to shake this. You have to shake it up before you use it. The Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist is also brilliant. This has a wonderful mister. Oh, you know what? I could just like review mists all day. Like, if that could just be my full-time job, I would be perfectly happy. But this also will breathe a little bit of life into the skin, settle any powders, but not encourage your makeup to break up or separate. Love. Last category is lips. And I knew in this declutter that I had to tackle my liquid lipstick collection because it had become absolutely obscene and embarrassing. So, in the comment section, tell me, are you still loving those long-wearing liquid lipstick formulas? Are you still reaching for them? Because here is my take. I'm more likely to reach for that drying, long-wearing lipstick formula if it's in a bold color, like a red or a vamp, because it makes sense, right? It's not going to transfer, move around the face, a little bit more convenient. But I find if I'm going for a nude lip, then I'm much more likely to reach for your traditional creamy lipstick formulas. So with that rationale, I decided that if it was nude and it was a super drying liquid lipstick formula, it had to go. So here are some examples. The Anastasia liquid lipsticks, part of that first wave that took over the internet, they're leaving. Also the Tarte lip paints, great selection of colors, so many nudes, but wow, not good on my sandpaper lips. That was crack city. Also the Stiller Stay All Day liquid lipsticks. Yeah, man, want to love them, but my lips, they're just crap. What can I say? The Colourpop Ultra Matte Lip. They're not lying when they say ultra matte. This is, I think, one of the worst offenders. Actually, no, the worst offender I've got to say is the LA Splash liquid lipsticks. Wow, these just won't come off, ever. I have a few dose of colors that I'm getting rid of. Again, beautiful shades, just a little bit too long wearing, too drying for my side lips. Also the Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipsticks and the Jeffree Star lipsticks are in the same boat. But not all liquid lipsticks are that hardcore, long wearing, super drying. There are some liquid lipstick formulas that I'm keeping. They don't dry down 100% and they're more forgiving for those of us with chapped lips. So I thought I'd show you those formulas. The Bite Beauty Liquefied Lip. This is actually quite a thick and nourishing liquid lipstick formula. And very opaque. The Burberry Liquid Lip Velvets are such a brilliant formula. They're quite silicone heavy and velvety and slippy when you press your lips together, so very comfy, and the shade range is really well curated. The Revlon Ultra HD Matte Lip Colors, great drugstore option, very comfy, very forgiving, not super matte these ones, despite the name. The Bare Minerals doesn't have a name on the tube, that's really annoying. The one that smells like cookie butter, man, these smell so good. These do dry down matte-ish, but not 100%. So you can get that matte lip effect without the discomfort. Another affordable option that I enjoy are the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lips. This would be my preferred formula from Colourpop. As the name says, they're beautiful, satin, comfortable, amazing shade range. Colourpop really excels at shades. And let's do one more because we could go on all day, but also one that many people will recognize, the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream. Not the most opaque, but they do look matte, but they don't feel matte. So they've got that comfort factor there as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed that video. Maybe it gave you a bit of inspiration to pare back your collection if you so desire. I find this to be a great activity in discerning patterns of what I like in products and what I don't like in products. And, you know, hopefully that makes me a more conscious consumer, and hopefully I make better purchasing decisions in the future. Come say hello to me on Instagram if you don't follow me there, at Karima McKimmie. I'd love to chat, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I shall speak to you all very soon. Bye.